Hello, friends. Very good morning. And today is July 22nd, and I welcome you all to the Brain Bite. This is a daily trivia that we present to you in a detailed fashion. So, if you want to know what has transpired in invention, in science, in astronomy, or also on history, then you have come to the right place. So, the first fact that we want to present to you is about someone completing a solo flight way back in 1933 around the world. Now, back in the days, the earth was a very large place, and people were kind of separated. The distance itself was very large. Huge distances prevented different civilizations to evolve separately to come up with a new method. Now, it's changed. It's now becoming a global village, as we call it. We can transfer from one location to any other location within 12 hours, and this time or the distance is gradually reducing as we move towards the future. However, this record was created on July 22nd in the year 1933, when the Wiley Hardman Post completed the solo flight for the first time, and it took him more than 7 days, because obviously he had to refuel, he had to replenish, he had to restock his supplies, etc. So this has taken some time for him to do it, but important thing is he went solo without any companion, and this would have been very risky in those days, because if you're lost, there were no radar systems, there were no support, and therefore it requires a lot of courage to fly. Just in case, imagine something develops, a snack develops, there will be no repair facility like we find today, especially when it comes to aircrafts, because aircrafts in 1933 were completely new beast. And therefore, taking a decision like that, look, I will take a flight, I will fly my own plane, and I will go around the world. I do not know what routes I have to take, which places will support me. So there were a lot of unknowns. So Wiley Hardman Post definitely was a very courageous person, and he was the first one to make a solo flight trip around the world. Remember this, friend. All right, let's move to the next one. Now, this is again about the flying again, but this time it involves a helicopter, a chopper. Now, we know that aeroplane flies faster and it can cover more distance, and helicopter has a totally different requirement. It needs to hover, and therefore it flies slower because it's hovering. It's designed to hover, and it is used for basically vertical takeoff and landing capabilities, and it can be used for your medical services and mostly in the defense services. All right, so since it is flying slower than the aircraft, even slower than the aircraft which was used in 1933 to circumnavigate the world, the most modern helicopters actually fly quite slow. And this feat of going around in a helicopter at a very, very slow speed was achieved in 1983 by an Australian pilot. His name was Richard Harold Smith. He actually had the courage to fly using a chopper across the world. God knows how many times he had to refuel his chopper, because the helicopter is moving quite slow, and it requires to refuel. And well, in 1983 there was sufficient support in terms of fuel stations and airports, etc. However, to cross the ocean, it requires a long flight, especially for a helicopter. So therefore, this would have been again a very courageous thing to do, because you need to plot your track, especially when you're going through large oceans like Indian Oceans. Well, Indian Oceans, there are a lot of islands, so you can do island hopping. Atlantic also, there are some islands, and you can actually plan the route. But the biggest challenge is the Pacific. How would you basically transverse through Pacific? Probably you have to go through the North Pole or South Pole, which creates another challenge. And by the way, regarding the Wiley, I forgot to tell you that since he was the first one to go around the world in an aeroplane, he also discovers about the jet streams, which are natural phenomena on Earth. So, if you are again, if Richard Harold Smith is flying through a chopper, the closer distance in is in the pole side, but then you have to, if you are going in a chopper, you have to go through a jet stream, and wind can be very precarious. So net this requires again lot of courage, a lot of willpower, and Richard Harold Smith was the first helicopter pilot to circumnavigate the globe in 1983. All right, friends, let's move to the next one. So this is about India. In 2012, who was elected as the 13th president of India. So for those who do not know how the Indian democracy works, we are not a presidential democracy. President is a sort of a signing authority chosen by the member of parliament. Unlike a lot of other countries where the president has some decisions to make. In India, the government of India reports into president, but government of India is free to take their decisions, and they will have to send the decisions for sign off to the president. The government of India members, basically member of parliament, basically select the president, or not select, actually that's a wrong word, elect the president, and both opposition as well as the state governments and the ruling party MPs vote for the president. So the president, when they are elected, the whole lot of almost like 500,000 votes are casted by the member of legislative authorities as well as the member of parliaments to choose. So it creates a very homogeneous environment for selecting a president. That means no side wins. And usually what happens in India is that there are not more than two candidates. We have not seen more than two candidates because third candidate will not serve any purpose. Usually there are two candidates. Out of these two candidates, one will be selected, and the voting is done by opposition as well as the ruling party as well as the state governments. So that is why the Indian democratic system is truly democratic, because at no level the votes, no level, there are no proxy votes or anything like that. And therefore the president is a very special, Indian president is a very special person. So in 2012, Pranab Mukherjee became the 13th president of India, and he was obviously from the ruling dispensation. However, a lot of people vote for him, and he was elected as the president of India with overwhelming votes, because he had almost like 5 decades of political experience behind him. Gem of a guy, mathematician, also an economist, and therefore he understood and he was also a lawyer. So he understood all facet of governance and controlling the not only Indian government, but also there are 29 states in India, so controlling all other state governments if they are going wrong, he has his own mechanism. So Pranab Mukherjee was elected in 2012. All right, let's move to the next one. Now this is something very, very interesting. There was a music concert in Seattle in 2023, not so long ago, where the musicians were making such loud noise and people were dancing around so vigorously that the whole process created a earthquake which measured at 2.3 on the Richter scale. Can you imagine a music concert can create a earthquake which is measured by a Richter scale, and it was pretty huge, and 2.3 humans jumping around at one place and music playing can create a earthquake. But this has happened, and it's not only once, it was recorded twice. Then following night also the same thing happened. The earthquake was created artificially by human beings. This is a nice trivia to remember, but who was a musician. It was Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift was a musician here. Her concert actually created an earthquake. Isn't it so interesting to know about these things? Because we simply go to concert to enjoy, but then who knows that because of this enjoy, the earth can move. So these are certain facts which happened today. So friends, thanks for joining me live today. I will catch you again tomorrow with some more facts about our history, our world. See you in the next one.